Yeah, good. Welcome everybody back to another episode of the Handsome Homebuyer Podcast. My name is Charles, aka the Handsome Homebuyer, aka Captain Permit. Levy, bring it home for me, man. AKA yes! That was awesome, bro. You don't even have a little bit of Spanish in you. You know who is bilingual? Captain Permit. No, not
you are.
No, Captain Permit. I'm not Captain Permit. Mike's Captain Permit.
Oh,
I don't
Mike
know.
is Captain Permit.
We're the collective. We're Captain Permit. You're not. I didn't introduce you yet. You're not supposed to. All right. Captain Permit. 516-513-8838. If you need plans, you need permits, if you need anything real estate related, interior alterations, commercial, new construction, we do it coast to coast, tip to tip. And by that, I mean Elmont to Montauk and everything in between. The real estate market is on fire, right?
True.
Right? On fire. There is permit drama everywhere. Sign off on that. Permit drama. Today's guest.
Absolutely. Can't get in the building.
Permit drama everywhere. If you want the most comprehensive team that I would dare to say is the best looking permit team in the business, be honest.
Totally true.
Yeah. I mean, that's not saying much. Most permit guys are like 350 pounds with, hairy ears and no hair up top. Regardless, we still have the title. 516-513-8838. Obviously, I'm the Handsome Home Buyer. If you have a house that smells like cat pee, is dated from the 1960s, has 6 inches of mold on the wall, human waste floating past the basement steps, I'm quick, I'm easy, I want to buy it. 516-777 sold. Quick plug, lotusquotes.com, LOTUSQUOTES. Did I get that right?
ES?
Yes, ES.
Yes. Quotes, yes. No apostrophe. Yes.
Yeah, no S. Yes. I almost quick tip before we go into that. Second grade, I can't really spell. Did you know I can't really spell?
I didn't know that.
You've read enough of my text messages to know that I can't spell.
I often assume you're using Siri when you're texting.
No.
It's fine.
No, that's me. Siri doesn't make those kind of mistakes. Only I make those kind of mistakes. So second grade, I can't spell. My mom goes to, first grade, Mrs. Wyman. Second grade was Mrs. Smithy. She was awesome. Mrs. Wyman, she sucked. She wanted to leave me back. Anyway, my mom goes to Mrs. Wyman and she's like, yo, my son cannot spell. What are we going to do about this? And she says, don't worry, they have spell check. And to this day, my spelling still sucks. I screw up the to, the your, although I'm starting to get better.
Oh, this is true. Yes. And I have been known to correct you because I think that's a loving friendship sort of thing to do.
And I love you for it.
Is correct you.
What's the difference between the two, that's the T-O, and the T-O-O?
We're still doing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is real. This is for me. These podcasts are for me, by the way.
So two, if you're saying T-O-O,
okay,
you're going somewhere as well. Two.
Okay, I'm going to the store.
That's two, T-O.
Come on, you see?
But T-O-O is as well, also, inclusive.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
Two.
Use it in a sentence for me.
I'm going to sell, more houses.
See, it's not that easy.
With more houses than I did this year. Next year, two would make sense. But if two as well, also.
So regardless, the message here is kids, if you're out there listening and you sucked in high school and or college or elementary school, whatever it is, I think it's better if you did well, because if I could go back, I would. But the good news is you could still take over the world and not know the difference between two, T-O, and T-O-O.
Yeah.
Okay. So today's guest is fabulous. She is, how long have I known you for? Feels like forever.
4 years in the business. I think I met you like very early on. You were at our office.
Is that when I met you first time?
Yeah.
Yeah?
And then maybe a YPN event or something like that.
I don't even remember it. I just feel like we've been in each other's lives forever. Yeah. It's very strange. Yeah. Even though you haven't been in real estate, you've been in real estate for 4 years?
4 years this year, yeah.
I've been in real estate 6 years at the end of this.
Newbies.
She is a Canadian transplant.
True.
She loves raw bacon.
Huh?
I like raw meat. All meat, raw.
Huh?
This is a G-rated show.
It's true, though. I do. I like it undercooked, bloody.
Please, no!
Smell like a little death,
No!
She has made an unbelievable transformation in her life, which we're going to hear all about, which is the theme of today's podcast over the last few years. And I've watched it. I'm gonna take like a 0.5% credit and feel like since I was along for the ride, I was part of that. Even if I didn't, just humor me. She is, I think, going to be the #1 agent in this fiscal year for Exit Real Estate Achieve out in Smithtown, which is an awesome place to work.
It is amazing.
I love your broker.
Thank you.
She fucking rocks.
She's the best.
And most brokers suck, but she rocks.
She's the best.
Tanya Plackis.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
It's good to see you.
So good.
Usually
to see
we have
you.
our breakfast meetings. I haven't seen you for a breakfast meeting in quite some time
I
because you
know.
are busy, which is cool, which I really like.
Yeah, but we need to figure that out.
We need to
make time for
get
that.
back to the raw bacon.
Yeah, definitely.
We need to get back to the raw. I don't do the raw bacon, but
He
you
eats
can
like
do the
pancakes and waffles.
No, I've been good.
Really?
I'm getting shredded. I've been riding 25 miles at a clip on the bike. I've been doing the whole not as many carbs. It's the carbs
Well,
that
I know,
get you.
I've
Like
seen
you don't
do
have
it.
this problem, but men have this problem. Like
But I also don't really like, carbs aren't like my
you're a very
go-to.
disciplined person. Like when you have the day from hell and you come home and you just want to stress eat, what do you eat?
Frozen grapes. No. I used to drink wine
Okay.
regularly, like on the daily at the end of the day, especially as soon as it got, it's cold. It's okay for me to drink a glass of wine, which would then be half a bottle and then you can't let it go bad. So the next day you'd have the rest of it.
So my
You know?
equivalent of that is ice cream. So I will take the cover off the pint of ice cream and just finish it all because you just can't let it go bad.
Yeah, that might be a male thing actually, because I witnessed that at home quite a bit too.
Yeah?
I don't really stress eat.
No?
No.
Levi, you stress eat? Levy, sorry.
All the time.
It was that thing with the jeans that you showed me this morning that fucked me up.
It's my dog's name, Levi, the best poodle in the world.
He is the best poodle in the world.
He doodly do.
So
Really?
I want to get some background on you so everybody knows.
Yes.
You were not born here.
I was not.
You have not been here all that long,
December 23rd is 1 decade.
which is not that long.
No.
That's like, and you've traveled around and done quite a bit.
Yeah.
You are a kind of like, what's the word I'm
An
looking for?
immigrant?
No.
Because I am an
You
immigrant.
are like you're a nomad, but you're not. You're like a controlled nomad. Like like mentally and spiritually, you always want to be roaming,
Totally.
but like you're hanging out for right now.
That is a beautiful way to describe it. That's so kind
I
of
could have
you.
said it. I could have said it better. It wasn't as smooth as I wanted it to be, but you get the point.
Yeah, it means that you know me very well because it's true.
So give us a little background about Canada, your upbringing, parents, and what ultimately brought you to Long Island, New York.
Yeah. So I grew up in a steel town called Hamilton, Ontario, which is shout out to Hamilton, Hammer. Now is a very big city. It's combined with some other cities, but super blue collar. My folks were not wealthy at all. Definitely had a challenging upbringing for sure. And we moved a lot. We never really had one place that we stayed for too long. We certainly didn't own a home at any time. And I kind of continued that thread along for quite some time in my life and moved out when I was very young, dropped out of high school, moved out on my own when I was 16. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
didn't finish high school?
No, I'm still not a graduate of high school.
Wow.
Which is pretty kind of crazy, actually. And, interestingly enough, I could never speak that out loud. It was like this very deep, dark secret until recently. So
Okay.
I'm sort of like checking out the psychology of that because I happen to be proud of something. So now I can kind of literate that I have 15 high school credits.
Interesting.
I hope the Department of State doesn't watch this because I think you're supposed to have graduated.
I don't know. I think it's different here.
Yeah.
We don't do credits.
Right. So I don't know.
In America, we don't do credits.
What is it, points?
No, it's just grades. You just
GPA? Oh,
you have a
what is it called?
GPA. Well, when I went to high school, it was like A, B, C, D, E. I think it depends on where you go. But in America, we don't do credits. We do credits in college, but not in high school.
Oh,
So, I mean, listen, when I really think about it and look back, I say this all the time. Sorry, teachers. I think education. I think public school is failing people all day, every day.
Yep.
And fortunately for us, we're in a time period where education is important, but that formal education or having that stamp isn't so important.
You're right.
You could have a doctorate. If you aren't good at what you do, you're not selling 50 houses a year.
Right.
It doesn't matter, what you have, how much education you've had.
Yeah.
So
I totally agree.
keep it coming.
Okay.
I'm learning more.
So I traveled a lot. When I dropped out, I got jobs in restaurant business, which I think totally helped me do what I do today.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a perfect business for young people to get involved in pre-COVID, where you could really interact with people and see their pleasure and see them happy with something you're doing. You're sort of making their day. But I made great money, which I thought was amazing money. I'd never had more money in my life. And it was cash. And I would work during the day in a restaurant, like a family restaurant, and in the evenings in a pub or multiple pubs. And I just thought I had all this money. So I left and I went to Australia with a backpack by myself. And I ran out of money in like 2 weeks, but I didn't come home for a long time. And, but that was like, the late 90s. And then, I kind of just coasted around and did different things. I worked in a hospital for a long time. And then I got my diploma, I guess, like an associate's degree considered here in medical massage therapy.
Okay.
Which really doesn't lend to anything that I'm doing now, but it ended up getting me here because I met my ex-husband, who's a great guy, Milo. We've talked about Milo many times.
I love Milo. I love Milo and I've never even met him.
He's a great person. And my current husband, I've done this a couple times, would agree that Milo's a great guy. But anyway, so I moved here.
I thought you were going to say that you've accidentally called him Milo, and I was going to say that's bad.
No, I have not done that, thank God. No. So Milo I met, and I moved to Garden City area. I was there for 5 years. And then I got divorced, and I met my current husband and moved out to Suffolk County.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I was really not doing anything particularly, I was working in an industry where I was helping people, and I certainly, had a great connection with people. I worked in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
CrossFit Garden City. I was there for many years and loved it. And, really a big part of my business started out because of the relationships that I created at CrossFit Garden City.
So I'm curious to know, because everybody loves Canadians.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is. I mean, I love you guys too. It's not like, I'm not upset about it, but I went to Europe when I was 25 on this thing called Kentucky tour with 25 Canadians and like
Love
7
Kentucky.
Americans.
Canadians love Kentucky.
Oh, you did Kentucky?
I did in Australia.
So I'm walking around France and people give me dirty looks and I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, listen to your accent. But everybody loves the Canadians. Everywhere you go, they're yelling at me about George Bush. I'm like, I don't know Bush. Like, I'm not in his cabinet. You can't be, I don't know what he's doing. And I'm also 25. I don't know anything.
Right.
Right? But everybody loves the Canadians.
I know. So even Americans will put like a Canadian backpack flag on their backpack and travel. So you're not so...
Really?
I mean, probably not these days. Nobody would, people love us here in America, but we won't put this in the podcast, this part.
No, everything goes in the podcast. We don't edit this.
Everything?
Yeah,
goes in the
everything.
podcast?
Sorry.
Milo too?
Milo. Yeah, this Milo.
It's fine.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So it kind of sounds to me, and again, I know you really well, but the cool thing about these podcasts is when you talk to people, you get to like know them on a different level. You continue to like peel the layers away.
Yeah.
So it kind of sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, is like you've been trying to, can we talk about how old you are? Do we want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
going to turn 41 in 2 weeks. How old are you?
I will be turning 43 in April.
Okay.
So I'm still 42.
So until like a recent kind of like, just shift in your mindset and mentality, which we'll get to in the not so distant future, it seems like you've been trying to find yourself for 40 years.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've been trying to do. Really not, that's not really any roots, pretty transient in not in a bad way, but in a good way, curious, really didn't, like I have friends all over, but they're still my friends. I can go and still continue to, make new relationships. It never really affected me to have to be somewhere for very long. But yeah, it started to show up the older I got that I have to figure out something to do that's I'll enjoy. Yeah. And apparently I have to earn a living,
So I want to kind of talk about that process, right? Because I think 99% of people, like I know you love what you do. Like you help people, you love people.
I do.
Right? I really like people too. And I love what I do. Every day I wake up, I'm like, it's awesome. People are like, oh, when are you going to slow down and enjoy life? I'm like, I am enjoying life. This is enjoyment, right? So, but the process to figure out what you love or want to do is very difficult. And you've done a lot of different things and tested a lot of things, which I think is very good, right? How else do you figure out what you really love? But I'm curious to know about like what that process was like for you.
I think it just sort of showed up. My husband actually said, why don't you get your real estate license?
But even before that, forget about real estate. Like you had a bunch, you've done everything.
Yeah.
Fitness world, bartending, massage therapy. I'm sure there's a laundry list of other stuff that I don't know.
Yeah.
So what was it? You were just trying different things. You were curious. You you weren't exactly happy in your career and you're like, I'm going to just keep plugging away until I find something I love?
Yeah,
What was the
I
mindset
had
there?
really a career. I think massage therapy, I worked at an amazing clinic and I had a great following there.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably the closest to feeling like connected to something that I could have for many years. But when I moved here, it just wasn't something I could continue so easily. I had to get wasn't something, it was a big obstacle and I saw it as an obstacle. So therefore it wasn't going to happen. But
So when you say that, was it that you just, in retrospect, you just didn't love it that much? Or were you quickly kind of, because now you power through everything, right?
Yeah. And I think the shift is that, well, there's a lot of great things about real estate. I mean, you could really do this, have this career and never retire.
Yeah.
We could do this until we
Forever.
Literally drop. Right?
In any capacity you want, big, small, medium, anything.
You have great referral sources, you have a team, whatever it is, whatever capacity that you want to function in this, you could always earn some form of passive income or, so at the time that wasn't something that was stood out because I didn't even understand that was possible. But when I took away, so this is probably not something that I should say, but when I took away the house, the physical structure that I didn't really feel connected to. Like I don't watch Love It or Listed and drink wine and have a party.
That is a pretty cool show.
I've never seen it actually, but I don't feel this like great connection to real estate. Right. Honestly,
that's interesting
to the house itself,
but that's okay. That's not,
and I'm growing into it because I'm starting to understand more things and I see differences and now I have more knowledge. So yes, I feel like a little bit more comfortable, I guess, or confident, but once I realized that, this is a place where people create memories, right? Oh, this is a place where, your mother passed away and we need to figure out a solution so that you and your siblings can move on with your life. Or, this is a place where you're going to be having a new baby. It's time for you to move up and have as soon as there was like this connection with like people and I get to be a part of this big intimate experience with this family or person, it was like mind blowing for me.
So I want to talk about that because I remember you when you first got into real estate and you were like, you had your license and you were into real estate, but you really weren't. Like you were like 10% in and like 90% into like coaching CrossFit and doing like 14 other things.
Totally.
Right. And I know you as a person, like you have this need to feel connected to people.
Absolutely.
That's just something that we're all wired, how we're wired. You're wired that way. Yeah. So you weren't, let's call it what it is. And correct me if I'm wrong. When you were in real estate and you weren't putting all your effort into it, you weren't doing a lot of business because you were doing 4 million other different things.
Yeah, totally.
And then all of a sudden, and I don't know what it is, so I'm really excited to hear what happened. All of a sudden, one day you turned into like a savage listing, selling, 100,000 miles on your car every year beast.
Yeah. It was a particular experience. And I'm going to give my husband some credit on this one because he had said many, many, many times, and when he would say these types of comments to me, it was like a jab and it felt so personal. But really what he was trying to do was help me and it did. So he would say things like, yeah, well, if you just want to punch a clock for the rest of your life and pay someone else's mortgage and help someone else, acquire wealth, that's your deal.
That's interesting.
And I would be so offended by that because I am working 15 hours a day. I'm busting my ass. He's like, for who? You come home totally shot, opening a bottle of wine, having a few glasses. You're exhausted. You don't feel well. We're not doing great. What exactly is going on here? And that was sort of a few different things in my life that I did, but was one particular job that I really wanted to help him grow, help the company grow and just sort of see. And I couldn't get my head around any of it. I couldn't get in front of it. I couldn't get behind it. I couldn't get enough hours in. And there really just wasn't a platform for me to do that because if I took a fraction of that energy, which was what I was told by a few different people, and put it, I think you actually mentioned this too, put that into something else that is my own business, imagine what will happen. So it was like a snowy day and there was, a bunch of things going on at this particular place. And I came home and I remember sitting on my stairs right when I walk in and I sat down and I just broke. I was like, I literally can't do this anymore. Like I have to quit. I just can't do this. And Steve said, you got it, do it. Thank God, do it. But what am I going to do? He's like, you'll figure it out.
Interesting.
So I sent the email and
That's
I
very interesting.
got up. Yeah. And I went downstairs and I sat down on my floor and I had a Wayne Dyer book and I had the internet. So I had tons of information at my fingertips. And I said, I'm going to fix my brain. I'm going to fix my brain.
Because I don't know if you remember telling me this, but I think this was kind of like mid-transformation or maybe just after or whatever it was. You told me and you would work so freaking hard, but you would tell me that you're working super hard and I see it, but you almost felt like guilty about making money. Like you kind of felt like you didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
Which was very interesting, which I never really understood.
Yeah. And that's kind of the culmination of all this stuff is that, super personal stuff going on here. This is Dr. Phil session. I love it.
I actually didn't ask you the one question I ask everybody, which is there anything you don't want to talk about?
No.
We just went right into it.
I actually am totally, I hope you guys are into this because look, the point is that I didn't grow up with much. And I think I found a way to create DNA in my body that said, you're not meant for it. And it's like a 4-letter word. Like wealth is not something, I just had no concept. In fact, I had less concept living in Canada under the way that I existed than when I moved here. It was very, very like blatant that there's wealth and opulence and, people it was a lifestyle I knew nothing about. And I didn't particularly feel comfortable because I certainly couldn't connect to it. And I still don't really feel connected to certain things. And I think you're kind of this way as well. Like I really want to always keep my feet on the ground, no matter what. But I really didn't think that abundance was something that was meant for me. And that was okay, because if I can just live within my means and I just make enough to get by, like that was really comfortable for me. So it was actually really uncomfortable for me to say, I'm not going to punch someone else's clock. I'm going to put in as many hours into my own business as I was for someone else's small business and see what happens. And now I'm like, I'm still shocked. I'm shocked at what helping other people consistently, doing the same things consistently. When I need a little rest, I get to take it. When I need to go harder, I go a little harder. But how that's changing my life, it's just amazing. Yeah, I'm still amazed.
Go back to the Wayne Dyer thing, because we had the scene set and then we jumped around.
So I sat on the floor for 2 weeks, maybe more. Every day, I was very quiet. I didn't say much. I didn't communicate a lot. I didn't go into the office. I was I don't know what I need to do, but I need to fix something because my brain was negative. My environment was negative. My thoughts, my words I spoke were negative. I was so far from where I am now. So I was like, who can my teachers be, And so it drifted into many different things. And then just several different books that I was reading, but I would write, journal, and I would try to move my body a little bit, journal, read, the savers, early morning quiet stuff, silence, just whatever I could do to kind of change the way that I was letting thoughts come into my mind. And I would write things down, and then the next day I would look at it and say, wow, I can't, that's it. Every day I could physically see, a bit of a shift. And then I just started going to the office, and there were people there that were really instrumental. I'd watch them and listen to them and learn, quietly. But there was a few people that were really helpful. And I knew that if I just kept being the person I am, surround myself with people who were way smarter than me, which, that's key, right? I mean, we can't do our job without any of the resources we have. And I really think I personally have one of the best teams, and I can make a phone call at any point in time and find a solution to a problem.
I think a really simple thing that you do that people always ask me, oh, how do you be successful? And I give them this answer, which is really simple, which is exactly what you do, but people, they don't get it. You get it, but they don't get it, which is be a good person.
Right.
So you're not out there being oh, I want to sell this $1 million home. Or I want to sell as many homes as possible. I want to help as many people as possible. And if I help all these people get what they want, ultimately I'm going to get what I want. But it's just a byproduct of it. It's not why you do what you do.
Yeah. And get what I want. There's the kind of the trick, right? I don't really know, as far as monetary or What are my goals? I still am like, that's a whole nother 2 weeks on the floor. Or three,
After
2.5 weeks.
after the original 2 weeks on the floor?
Yeah, that's like a separate 2
Okay.
weeks. That might happen maybe on the week of Christmas or something, where
Okay.
where I kind of, implement some goal, because I really don't know. I'm going to be like a chipmunk, like it's happening and don't touch it, and I just it's abundance is a weird thing. I think if you've never really experienced that,
Well-
and I also know this is really important, I think, for a lot of, newbies too in the business. I mean, I'm still totally new, but I remember watching like a panel of like top producers multiple times, different places, and never thinking that any one of them ever had a failure, or that they never had a deal that died, or they never had a client that turned their back on them, or they just never had a failure. It was just something I assumed to be true. And at any point in time, if we don't keep doing what we're doing and the way that we're doing it, this doesn't stay this way. It's not just you press play and it continues to go. You have to improve and keep trying and never really stop, because this is our life now.
And being a real estate agent,
Right?
yeah, and being a real estate agent is hard. Like, what we do is really hard. You can't turn off. It's 24/7.
Yeah.
And I think people don't also understand that being a realtor, you happen to have an amazing family and team at Exit Achieve, right?
I'm so grateful.
Which
Oh my
I'd
God.
like to talk about in a second. But for the most part, agents are on their own. Like,
Yeah.
I have agents DM me like daily who are like, yo, should I go to a different brokerage? My broker doesn't do anything. My split sucks. And my broker's not helping me. I'm like, are you getting great education? You getting this? They're like, no, we're not getting anything.
Tell them to call me. Please. I will help them find the way.
But that's like,
And
I guess that's something I want to talk about a little bit later on down the road with you. But as far as like, building a team in the future and all that. But it's hard. It's a lot of work. Like, if you don't get up every day and go out and grind 7 days a week, and if you're a realtor, you're really not going to start making money for 6 to 12 months.
Right.
Like, if you're just out of the gate, you have to commit to 6 to 12 months of struggle before you see $1,
Yeah.
which a lot of people can't get to that point and aren't willing to do whatever it takes, coach CrossFit, do this, do that to get there.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about Exit Achieve and the team that you guys have and the environment and how important that was to your overall development and support today.
Yeah. I think, when you have a little bit of production, there must be some like website I'm not aware of, or somewhere people can watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
All of a sudden the phone starts to ring, right? Other
For-
companies.
yes.
Yeah. Who
It's
want
called
to
Broker Metrics.
is that the website?
Yeah, so Broker Metrics is a service that brokers sign up for that basically show them everybody's sales and volume, and they use that to try and poach.
Is that how I ended up here?
No, I don't have it. I just know about it.
Oh no. I was hoping you did. You should have said yes anyways.
No, you're here for a much higher purpose.
Oh, of
Your message and what you've done,
Yeah.
I'm hoping is going to inspire other people who are in the place where you were.
Yeah.
Get to where you are.
Oh my God, I would love to. Anyone who has questions about that, please contact me, because I would be so grateful to guide anybody. But yeah, Exit Achieve in Smithtown is led by our broker, Susan Hamblin. And I don't know. I would never consider going elsewhere. First of all, she's basically like my New York mom.
Like your second mom.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I have.
She just messaged. She goes, "How did the podcast go?" And I said, "I haven't started yet." And she's like, "Good, just keep going."
She is literally like my mother. She is like the nicest, sweetest, most loving, like Care Bear staring woman
Yeah.
that ever exists.
And she really sees specialness in people. And even when they don't always show that to her, she'll try to find somewhere where she can communicate and help you. She's an amazing leader. I mean, that's something that, I think you're in a position where you have a team, a leadership. You don't find that everywhere. I had it at CrossFit Garden City with Dennis Marshall. He was an incredible leader. I would have listened to anything he said and done it. And Susan's the same way. Just so much respect, And she's just a good person. She's an amazing human being. And she's built quite a big office. I mean, we have over 150 agents, I believe, right now.
Yeah. And
huge.
And they're all producing agents.
Lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's producing.
Yes.
So over time, they'll produce more if they're newer.
But there's a lot of offices you go. So when I heard about that Broker Matrix thing, I looked at somebody's so half the agents have never done a deal on Long Island.
Right.
And then 2.5% of all the agents do all the business.
Right.
Like all the business.
2.5.
Yes. So 2.5% of all agents, for what the numbers that I saw, gross $80K a year or more.
Right. So I'm in the 2.5%.
Yeah, you're in the
Yeah.
1%.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that so brokers, right? Brokerages always have tools. They have, they're all going to say that they're offering things to you, but I know from companies, from other agents that have come into our company, from other large brand name businesses and companies who are amazed by what Susan and our particular office is offering. Because we have Jeff Mastretta too, who I know you know.
I love Jeff.
Great guy. Like he has such a heart for technology and for the agents. He's really building some amazing things behind the scenes. And I have people calling me saying, "Who's doing your marketing?" I'm like, my office.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Who's making all these posts? I am, because I can just drag and drop it because I don't have time to do anything else.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's amazing. And
that's
him and
all
I have
through him.
talked about that. And that's something that like no other brokers are doing.
No.
And I've been like yelling about this for like the last 3 years. I'm like, yo, brokers, you need a podcast studio.
Yeah.
You need a full-time camera person.
we have one that comes 4 times a month now.
Boom.
That we don't pay for that. They
Yeah.
do that. We can do any content. They'll help us with content.
Yeah.
Whatever they can to get our faces out there. It's super beyond generous. First of all.
Yeah.
I mean, the exit model is totally different. I don't want to kind of get into semantics in that, but we don't. The way that the brokers make money is far different than larger companies. They're definitely not walking away from each deal with the same amount. They're constantly putting it back into the business.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I watched them do, and I was like, I need to figure out of each closing I have, what can I buy? How many pairs of glasses can I buy, and how much do I put back into my business? Like literally
How many pairs of glasses do you own?
a lot. But I love.
That's your thing?
glasses. My shout out to my girl Patrice. Yes.
Most women
In
do shoes and
Northport.
bags. You do
She's the best.
glasses?
No shoes and bags. I could really care less.
All right.
DSW all the way. But glasses I love. I mean, it's my face. It's my face.
Okay.
Right? It's like face decoration.
Okay.
Face jewelry. But anyway, I mean, you have to invest back into your business.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're staying the same or not going in the direction you want to go.
So back to the mindset thing for a second.
Yeah.
So you were telling yourself before, like, I'm cool with this. I just need to get by. What are you telling yourself today?
Oh my God. I'm telling myself that truly, this is the one thing that sticks with me whenever I kind of feel like something's dirty about what I'm doing in a weird way. Like it really is. And mindset's not something you just, again, like you can't just like do it, press play and walk away. This is like, and when I feel myself deviating, I can feel it. And I feel that the thoughts coming in my head that maybe, that wherever they're coming from, it's some past
That's natural.
play, right? It's part of your DNA.
Yeah.
I have to sit back and get back to basics and just really kind of play it out. But the one thing that stays true and is an easy thing for me to have a sort of a scope of without feeling weird about it is that the abundance, that like literal lake of abundance that people are just going from and taking buckets from every single day, I belong there too, right?
Yeah.
So like I get to also create this life for myself, And I'd really love to do things for other people, just be able to do things for others that I would have never imagined was possible because I couldn't even do for myself. Like I want to be, I want to have properties and I would like to have some passive income. I'd love to travel to fabulous places and, be, like I said, let's charter a yacht, like in Below Deck Ned. I'm obsessed with that show. But like, I would love to do things like that, but that's so not on the forefront of my mind. It really is just the story I'm telling myself is just keep doing what you're doing. And I'm so grateful for every single minute because if it wasn't for the people that trust me with their largest asset, maybe they won't have to hear my story that I never had one before, but that's I'll do anything I can. I think anyone can learn a trade, right? And it's in a way that's what we're doing, right? We have a skill set. We have a level of education that you don't get from a book, right? But the people that trust me have trusted me last year to get me where I am today, and this year's been unbelievable.
Yep.
I mean, like those are the superstars. I mean, and I think that's something that I really want to mention that gets lost in this whole business a little bit is the stars are the clients, right? The stars are the sellers and the buyers and they're the people that are have the wins. It's not us. We get to have a living because of this, but the stars are them. It's not, I never want to walk away from that. Like,
so the interesting about you is like, and the cool thing about real estate again is real estate is the vehicle for you, but you're not in real estate. You're in the people business.
totally.
You're in the people
Can
business.
you write that down?
We can make a shirt out of it.
Can you hashtag?
Every podcast guest gets a shirt that I'm putting on, and that's going to be your shirt.
I love that.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, it's so true.
But yeah, that's your thing. Like I think being very successful in life is you have to really understand yourself. You have to understand what like makes you happy.
Yeah.
You have to understand what like drives you and motivates you. And you need that. You want to selflessly help people, and you need that connection with people. And real estate gives you that opportunity. And the byproduct of that is you can make a lot of money.
Right. Which again is just amazing. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's a dream come true.
It is a dream come true.
So you went from before to sitting on the floor for 2 weeks, and then sitting on the floor for another 2 weeks, to then
Possibly, yeah.
going into the office and starting to do business.
Yeah.
How did you, because I think a lot of people are in that position, they're like, super overwhelming, how do I get started? So how did you structure and put together a plan to kind of like step by step, day by day, piece by piece, house by house, start getting that wheel turning?
I wish I had some like master plan, or I was even that good at planning something really like out that I could give you, a template for it. COVID gave me an opportunity to sit back and look at some very basic things that I had been doing, and implement or correct or take away or add, right? So that was like a blessing in a weird way, right? That we had to be quiet. I wasn't really quiet, but I was more quiet than I was physically out there, right? I was definitely hustling my ass off during COVID, like making a lot of phone calls, touching base with a lot of people, sending a lot of things in the mail, cards, thank you, how
Which is
are
big,
you?
because people that didn't do that, like you hit the ground running when agents finally were like unleashed. Whereas people that didn't are still struggling. And I get calls right now like, this year sucks. It's totally dead. I'm like, bro, this year is crazy.
Out of control.
Out of control.
Yeah.
Whatever you lost in those like 2 or 3 months, you made up for and then some in the next 2 quarters. So with that said, I want to talk about the market, your experience with it right now, what you see going on out there.
Yeah. I think we might be just kind of just tapering down a little bit.
Yeah? But like a holiday taper?
I mean, we don't even have a normal season, and I've only experienced 4 seasons, so I can only speak to a seller's market.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Really, never
Yeah.
been a buyer. Only time I've ever experienced a buyer's market was a little blip during COVID in the Hamptons when I sold that house in the Hamptons, which was unique because I had to figure out how to help my clients figure out what to offer on it. But then 2 weeks later, that house would have sold for way more.
Yeah.
So it was just this weird moment in time. But we don't have September, typically people back to school. Now there's been certainly more challenges with people don't even know where their kids are going, how they're going to do it. So I think certain people may have taken their foot off the pedal a little bit. I would say that buyers may be fatiguing a little bit.
Yeah. Just because they've been offering them just getting blown out.
Depending on the price point. I don't really have a lot of $400,000-$500,000 buyers necessarily, but even just a first-time home buyer market, which now is like looking more like 600,000, 650 because of interest rates. It's tough out there. So I think people are a little stressed, and I think just the election, it's just a weird time. I mean,
It's a very weird time.
have we ever had more uncertainty ever?
It's a super weird year.
It's a weirdest time. So I'm not going to make any excuses. I mean, you still, I have 3 listings going live between today when I went up and next week.
Wow.
Which I think, I don't have listings every single day, a ton of them. So 3 listings in 2 weeks is a pretty good record for me.
See, that was going to say that's interesting because most people who've been in the business a few years, maybe they'll get a listing or 2, but they're really working with buyers a lot. And I've seen you listing a lot.
Yeah. And all of those listings are referrals.
Which brings me into my next question, which is, as much as you want to discuss, what are you doing to generate more business?
I'm taking the Charles Weinreb
Oh boy.
social media. I mean, yeah, because I'm not really doing there's things that you'll start seeing, or people start seeing with ads and things that are provided through our office. But just showing up on Facebook and Instagram stories, which is so weird to me because I don't even look at them. It freaks me out. It's so much activity. It's like, you know what I mean?
It's a lot of work.
But yeah.
It's like drainingly
when
emotional
I see how many
work.
little dashes you have on your story, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? How am I going to get enough content to have that many dashes? And he's doing it. So we'll have to talk after this. But just putting stuff up on Instagram, for sure, Instagram's been a big one because I didn't really gravitate towards that before. I want to talk and talk about the amazing client, right? And Facebook allows me to do that, you know? But yeah, social media, if someone didn't know I was a realtor, they know now. And all of the listings have been referrals, which I'm very, very, very lucky. I don't call. I try to call a few times, like do expired calls and stuff like that. And we're with a group in the office of great guys. Love you all. And I find a reason to walk out of the room. I just.
Listen, everybody has their thing.
It's tough.
It's on the years that I've done the most houses. I remember my mentor Call would always say, like, your network is the most important thing. Your network is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So on the years where I've done like big numbers, 67, 89 type houses, at the end of the year, I would look at all the houses that I bought and I would quantify and say, where did these come from? And like 85% of those would come from like relationships that I had or I've built.
Right.
So that's like really, now if you want to just get to that next level of like just disrespectfully busy, you have to market and do other things.
Yeah.
But the overwhelming majority is like, what kind of person are you? What kind of service do you deliver?
Right.
Are you going to get referrals?
Right. And I think for anyone that's new, your sphere, like the people, that's the sphere of influence, you know, that's the beginnings of your career. You need to cultivate that. And if you have 100 people, you make a list of 100 people who you really like, and you're pretty sure they really like you too. If you have 100 people, I mean, I did. I had 100 people. I don't know if they all liked me, but quite a few of them have either given me a deal or passed something along or referred me. Even if I don't think people are watching, somebody says to me whenever I run into them or some interaction, holy crap, you are crushing it. And I'm like, wow.
You are.
Because they don't interact with me on social media. They may not say anything. They're not liking it.
But they're watching it.
But they're watching. So that's really cool. I'm like, thank you. Thank you so much. Like it's my dream to continue to do exactly what I'm doing. Do you know anybody who wants to buy and sell? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think consistency, again, that's just, even if you don't have anything going on, there's so many things. Like I follow a ton of websites that you told me to follow. Carl told me to follow. And there's so much content, without getting anything political right now, there's so much to talk about.
Yep.
And somebody's going to, maybe they don't want to talk about the fluffy stuff that I love to talk about. They really want to talk about what the Fed's doing. And, there's so much content that you can share with people that shows that you're paying attention. You have to show up as a professional, right?
So, no, I agree. So I'm curious because I know that you are running 24/7. At some point you get to the point where like you have in a very short period of time hit the point where you need like help, or you're going to need help, right? Because you just can't be with the level of service that you give to clients. You just can't be everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Have you given thought to building a team, hiring? Like what is your plan to scale so that you don't just burn out? Because ultimately that's all of our problems.
Right. I think I had a little burnout already, but I recouped. I figured it out. I would love to have, and I have an amazing person who came on board, but she was really, the whole thing going back to school, it got really difficult for her to be present for me. And really an assistant in my head would be someone who's was a partner, right? Whether they're actually physically selling or not, but somebody's a partner who sort of sees and they benefit from their hard work. Not they have salary, but they're also benefiting from the amount of business that's coming in. I would love to see a way to incentivize someone to do that. So that would be probably my first step to find that right person in the near future. And I'd like to build a team because honestly, my dream would be, and it's sort of already in the works, is to eventually have licenses in 2 states, which would really create
what other state
very
is that?
Difficult challenge in Arizona. We talked a little bit
Yeah,
about that.
you have a thing for Arizona.
Yeah, I really have a big thing for Arizona. It's super, super magical. So, and there's so much opportunity in real estate there right now. They're just Phoenix itself, but really all over the state. There's so much building happening and so many people leaving California. It's kind of like here. We have just this big shuffle. So I'm getting licensed and I don't know what timeline. I don't know what that looks like. I really have to learn from, some of the big dogs out there and how they built teams and how they're managing that. But I don't know that I really want a team in a traditional sense. I would really love to. I don't want a Tanya Plackis team. That's just not something I'm interested in. I'd love to have some like-minded, hardworking agents, who want to help me serve my clients, in a 5 to 8 year plan kind of thing, and have to obviously do the same thing in another state because how can you possibly be two places, at once? So that would be like the big goal. So yes, how do I build a team?
That's the 5 to 10 year plan.
Dan O'Neill. Excuse me, sir. But yeah, I watch what everyone's doing, and I think, of
course, and we feed off of each other. It's vital.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I just don't know. I don't know how what that would look like for me yet. So I definitely need some guidance on that, and I think really right now it's just a matter of even having some really good partners, and I brought a couple people into the company lately who are really hardworking. They're fabulous people. I met them on another side of the deal. It was my listing. They brought the buyer. We discussed exit and how it's an amazing company and now they're coming on board. And
nice.
I want to go to Vermont for the weekend skiing. Are you here? Yes, cool. Not even a matter of like sharing business, but just really helping each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where your clients know that you have backup if you need it. I mean, we have that in our office anyway, but you just have to have, I think, a variety of things you can pull out of your pocket if you're burnt out. Really,
no, I'm with you. I mean, there's very few, if any, brokerages where I would say, listen, reach out. They're definitely worth a conversation because what you get is unlike anywhere else. So if you are an agent that's unhappy, reach out to Tanya.
Yes.
She will take you by the hand and show you.
Do that.
The goodness that is Exit Realty Achieve.
Actually, we have a career night this evening. Starts at 6:30. I'll send you the link.
This doesn't air until next. No, it doesn't air until next week.
It's once a month. So November we'll have one as well. I think it's the 3rd. What is the 3rd? Oh, the 3rd. So the 3rd Thursday in November is Thanksgiving.
I have no
Every
idea.
year.
I don't even know what tomorrow is.
Do you know? American Thanksgiving.
Last week Thursday of every November.
So weird. Why is it a Thursday? I still don't. No one can give me an answer.
Is there a Canadian Thanksgiving?
Yes.
When do you guys have it?
It's on a Monday, like normal people. Sunday, Monday. Sunday, then you get Monday off.
That
So
doesn't-
it's Sunday.
No, but that's not fun. So in America, we do it so you don't have to work. You get a half a day on Wednesday, Thanksgiving on Thursday, and then you just get the Friday as a gimme.
And Monday and Tuesday, and then all the way until January 2nd, because nobody really
Yes.
works. And that's the other thing.
Oh boy.
What are we going to do from between Thanksgiving and New Year's?
Sell a lot of houses.
Sell some houses.
Fucking A.
Because guys, if your agent is, taking a nap, there are other people out there working. And really, here's a Jeff Mistretta plug for you, Jeff. Because we work in our office as top 5. There's several ways that you can have accolades.
Mm-hmm. It's really accolades, but the Canadian
Accolades?
version is what?
I think it's accolades. I'm pretty sure it's
Just for the
accolades.
people at home, say wicked yeah.
Wicked, eh?
Oh shit, wicked A. I'm sorry.
He said that you can't look at your year as the end date, right? The end. If you look at December 31st as the end of the year, right? And I want to be top 5. That's my goal beyond helping everybody is if I had a personal goal, I'd like to be placed in the top 5. I don't have to be 1, but I want to be 5, right? And it's looking pretty good.
Next year we'll do another podcast, and at that point you'll be like, I got to be 1. I got to be number 1.
Right,
the mindset change is a
3,
gradual
even
process.
3, and then I'll go to 1. Give me some time. But if you look at that as the end of the year as you being that's you get to stop. It's just this moving target, So we can't look at I think that's what happens in the United States too. I really see that in every industry. People just start taking their foot off the pedal. Thanksgiving, and it's harder to get in touch with people in the towns, right? Like it is every
Everybody
day.
checks out.
Everyone checks out. So if you're just consistently doing the same thing, I mean, you're bound for mad success, eh?
A wicked mad success.
Mad success,
You are awesome.
Oh, you're awesome.
You know I love you.
Charles. I love you too.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you
I've
so
seen the
much.
transformation. I love what you're doing now. Very cool. I'm really excited to continue to watch it grow.
If people are interested in buying, selling, joining the team, how do they find you? How do they get in touch with you?
So you can call me. I still have a 516 number, although I live in Suffolk, 516-477-9047. Or email me at Tanya@TanyaPlackis.com.
Instagram,
Pardon me?
Instagram, Facebook.
Oh, Instagram. It's actually Tanya West 78. I do have another one, but someone told me to only have one, so I just stuck with that one because I had more followers. Tanya with an E, West 78. And Facebook is just Tanya Plackis. I have business accounts, but just go to the personal ones.
Obviously, I'm the handsome home buyer.
Yeah.
If you have a house that smells like cat pee, it's dated from the 1960s, land, commercial property, anything real estate related, I want to buy it. 516-777-SOLD. And if you have any kind of permit problems, you got to call the captain. 516-513-8838. That's a wrap.